Hey, how's it going? Let's look at a VCR. I've got a few of these I want to go through, check if they work, clean them up, maybe someone could use them. Here's the first one. It's a Mitsubishi HS-337UR, a VHS VCR from, I want to say 1986, 87 era. It's got that sort of late 80s vibe to it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, this is a common look. Anyway, I have no idea if it works. I don't have a remote, anything for it. Let's see if it even powers on. Okay, well, it's flashing the tape sensor, which is not good. All right, let's open it up, see what's going on inside. Well, I mean, nothing looks out of the ordinary. Before I go and do anything, I mean, you guys want to see me put a tape in this, right? Oh, wow. It's completely unresponsive. Okay. This is freaking bullshit. I want to take this cover off and this wire's in the way. But to disconnect the wire, I have to get under this cover that is being held in by the wire. Ah! Alright, just had to take a screw out of this board to kind of lift it up to let that out. First look, basic 2-head model. Some crap by the pinch roller there. I mean, it feels like a really good pinch roller, but I never know anything about that. These loading belts look fine. Nothing obvious why it's not working. Let's try and manually load it in. And see, this might be two-handed. Oh no. Oh no. Oh. Oh, that's nasty. You can just see a bit of it right. Oh, don't get on my hands. You can just see a bit of it there. Okay, let me get this out as cleanly as possible and just throw a random belt on there. Yeah, this is gonna be one of these situations. Oh God, it was stuck in there good. Focus. Look at that. Just gone to goop. I imagine it's gonna be the same on the capstan here. Yep, lots of isopropyl coming. All right, we're getting there. When you do this a lot, buy your Q-tips at Costco. It's the most cost-effective way to deal with that. So, got the outside of this wheel cleaned, and I think I'm just going to use some folded up paper towel and IPA to get in the corner there. Who designed this shit? Okay, so you've got this normal cover for the capstan motor that you would normally remove to get at the belt. This has a nice little bearing that the capstan sits on the backside, but it's screwed to this weird bracket from the underside, and to get at this, because this screw doesn't seem to want to budge, you have to get under there, but there's this piece here that looks like it's part of the loading mechanism that I really don't want to remove because, like, timing, man. You shouldn't have to remove this to get at that. A belt is well, not user replaceable, but it's, look at that. I hate when I get crap on my hands. It's expected that this is going to get replaced. Who designed this? Okay, that screw came out with a little bit more hoofing, and I feel like this has never been taken out, even though it looks like it's stripped, and that was not me. This didn't move at all. This was just me pushing down on it. All right, new belt is in. No idea if this is the right size. It feels a little tight. I would expect this to be a little looser, but this should be good just for testing. He says, knowing that a temporary solution will become permanent. But I doubt this will make any difference, but let's see. Nope, no go. But it did the thing that I was hoping to show the first time. I loaded it just to the point where the tape went down before the tape guides loaded, and it immediately ejected. Just, it's in an error state. As soon as it saw the tape in place, it went, nope, get out. So next step, let's look at this mode encoder switch. Well, this is concerning. It's just a free moving gear that meshes against that gear. So I haven't touched this yet, so theoretically you can go back where it was, but there's a timing mark. Where does that line up here? What? Oh, this could go anywhere. What? I don't... I truly don't understand this. Please stand by. I don't know, man. I don't know it. No. 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 That can't be it. Okay, we're one step closer. It's powered on now. So what is this switch? Ugh. The heck is this switch? Probably the timer switch, isn't it? Yeah, of course. I should have looked at the flashing timer. So now I can power it on. It's still not accepting the tape, but now that could be a mistiming on my part. Shit. Oh, wait a second. It's just really weak. What? Okay, let's push the tape in again. Now it's not doing anything this time. It's like no power. What the fuck? No, let's go back out. Is that motor bad? Is that motor getting enough voltage? Nine volts. Is that enough? All right, I think it's a bad motor. I've plugged in a spare motor, as one has, just lying around. And this has a lot of torque. And if I go and try to push the tape in, it's responding beautifully. So what if I just plopped this guy in there like that? And hopefully it's got a long enough shaft to put these on. No, it's not the motor, because with the motor out now, it's very, very good. Got lots of torque. So something's bogging it down here. What? I'm sorry, what? We need to rewind. All I did was take the belts off, wiggle this around a little bit to work it loose, test the motor without the belts connected, had lots of torque, tried pushing the tape in again once the belts were loaded, and it struggled and did the same thing. And then I tried again. Was this just jammed from sitting forever? Is this going to be one of those frustrating videos where there's no resolution? We don't know exactly what the problem was? Okay, so there's a couple possibilities. This was jammed up, and by removing the belts and then freely moving it around, maybe this shaft was like cockeyed or something and bunged up, although I was able to hand move it. Another possibility is that this motor wasn't getting enough torque to move, and whatever in this power supply was bad has warmed up. However, there's been no other indicator that the power supply was weak. Let's get a meter on that again now. Okay, now this might not say everything, because if this motor was getting bogged down, then the voltage could be dropping. So we were getting 9 point something volts before. Take it. Oh, it just bogged down now. I heard it clicking and it didn't load the tape. I don't know what this flashing is. Are any of these labeled? I think these switches are just really dirty. Oh. Yeah, I heard it clicking. So there's something weird here. Let's try the power switch again. Maybe eject. Unplug, plug back in. Nothing. Ugh. Play is this button here. Yeah, and it's getting 10 volts, which is basically what we were seeing, 9 point something. Now let's see if we're getting a signal. Of course we are. Of course it's working. One of these is going to be tracking. Like, of course it's working. Why wouldn't it work? What are these? That's probably one of the scan buttons. Got a few dropouts showing up there. Maybe the head's a little weak. I guess that's pause. This one does nothing. And this one does nothing as well. What happens when I press this one? It fails. Now there is an idler tire in there too, so that might be bad. Don't give me the tape. Take the tape. Take it. Okay. You know what? Let's get something that's not verboten due to copyright. And let's also not short out the motor voltage. Here we go. New standards of care with diabetes control network. Okay, so now let's see what the controls actually do here. Yeah, that was fast forward, rewind, that was frame advance, and pause. So pause was working. But the scan buttons weren't. Now again, this could just be dirty control. Yep. Fast forward's working. And rewind is not. Rewind just fails horribly. What about regular rewind? Play. Let's see. Let's stop and rewind. Fast forward. Okay, that's interesting. So if I put a tape in and it works, It sees the tape, goes into play mode. But watch what happens when I hit stop. As soon as it unloads the tape is gone. And I can no longer play, rewind, fast forward, anything. It's just gone until I hit eject. What if I hit power? Power just ejects. And then again, if I put, well, you know what? Let's put a tape that doesn't have a record tab in and see what happens. I mean, has a record tab. This is a very unhappy machine. Okay, it's there. It's about what I would expect for rewind on one of these older machines. Stop. Ah, and now I lose the tape presence. So this does seem like a mode encoder switch, because anytime it goes between modes, that switch is spinning, and if it's right on the edge, it will lose where it is, right? So anytime it does something and then stops and pulls back, it's like it goes too far. I bet you that's the problem. I bet you it's a timing issue. Let's try fast forward. Huh. Fast forward doesn't even work, and then it shuts off. One tooth over. I moved this mode switch one tooth over. Now, was it the photo that I took of this when I pulled it out? Because I did take a photo. That's how I was able to align it back to what it originally was before I went chasing my tail with the stupid timer switch. Or was this always misaligned and that's why this got retired? I got this in a stack of VCRs from like someone who used to get VCRs from their repair technician brother or something like that. So I don't know. We can assume that I just completely screwed this up and wasted a bunch of time, because that seems the most likely. But now I can go fast forward. I can go rewind. And when I'm done, it still sees the tape. And I can hit play. And it works. Do I have audio? Is the audio turned down on here? Huh. I don't have audio. We have another problem. This is gonna sound silly, but I think it's this little adjustment we have here. So we got no audio, and there's this little adjustment right there for the audio level. Now if I turn the volume up here and I start just touching, so on the, there's this is the center wipe here. Nothing and on this side. Play. Now if I go and do the Shango way of doing things here, and I probe the output. Plays the tape. What the fuck? I have such a... I swear I don't do this on purpose. I get a little bit of something here, which I assume is the input, and I assume this is ground. Space? Okay, well... I'm wondering if that adjustment just needs cleaning. Nope, simple measurement would have told me that this pot is fine. I'm wondering if something is shorted upstream that is pulling this audio signal down. Okay, it's been a couple days, ran out of time, had to go to bed. Anyway, we're still at the same problem, no sound. Last time I tried going through these traces, you can hear we're live there, tried pushing some audio in and it worked. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull a few of these transistors out that are along the path and just test them. Same thing with the resistors, capacitors, you know, just shotgun approach. I don't have a schematic. I don't know how complicated this little audio amplification circuit is. I'm not knowledgeable enough to reverse engineer this just by looking at the traces, so yeah, let's just test components. I just wanted to make sure I'm not crazy, and I grabbed just a random working VCR I had kicking around, put it in linear audio, so mono, just because I was touching the connections for the audio portion of the linear head on that other machine. I was hearing no hum, no buzzing. Typically, you know, there's so much amplification between the head and the output that you'll hear a bunch of noise and buzzing. So
hundreds of care were either met during the office visits depicted in this videotape, or a provision was made for them to be met. Mark, as far as I'm concerned, everything looks great here. Any vacation plans? Yes, as a matter of fact,
that's what I would expect. So let's go to the non-working one. So here we are with the Mitsubishi that's not working. You can hear a squeal and a hum as it's playing. Actually, there's a bit of a change. See, I can knock out the tracking if I touch the tracking. Just get right in there. Take that tracking pulse. But the audio, not so much. So that's making me think that it's not a problem with the head. It's a problem with the circuitry in here. Well, still trying to figure out this playback audio issue. I looked up the playback and record audio. I guess this is the amplifier IC, and this is the only information I can find. No useful data sheet with example schematics. You know, sometimes they'll show, you know, we expect a capacitor here to control whatever. So did the basic checking here. You know, the mute control works when you pause. It's got power and ground. This is that adjustment that I was looking at. So it's not in line, it actually goes through the IC. So this level adjustment, which is the playback input, is working, and this ties directly to the playback head. And I took a little capacitor and jumped it over to here and got a small amount of audio. So there is something here, but in this IC, it's not getting switched correctly. What I did try is recording off of the tuner and played it back in another VCR, and there is audio.
Why not?
there's no flash attachment on this camera.
Dummy, you've been taking pictures in the dark.
I'm a dummy. You're the one that shoved me in here.
And another thing to note is that the playback end-to-end control signal seems to be working. So when I hit playback, this goes to 5 volts. Oh, why are you doing that? Focus. So it could be that this IC is bad, but I want to verify everything outside of it is working correctly first. So yeah, zero problem there. Nice picture, good audio. I mean, it was SP, but good audio being recorded. So now if I play it back on this machine, the one that recorded it, nothing. Nothing at all. So, yeah, I guess I'm just going to continue looking at this. It could actually be a bad IC, in which case, I don't know. Maybe if I can find a cheap counterfeit one. Oh, and it's got this nice little ledge here. I didn't even realize I was propping it up with random crap. It's got a little folded piece of plastic here that holds the circuit board open, you know, for when you have to fix it when it inevitably breaks. All right, I've made a decision. First off, I was able to find almost the correct schematic. The HR-337EZ, I believe, one of the European models. The schematic was available, or the service manual was available on Electrotechna. Electrotanya? Yeah, Electrotanya. Anyway, it's almost the same, except for the area that I care about. So first, let's take a look here. It's a bunch of voltage measurements. That's the voltage measurement in play, and in parentheses, it's the record mode. Record mode works, I really only care about play. Taking a look at this, there's three voltages that were different that I measured. So here it is laid out with that pin layout from that other website. And as you can see, there's playback level adjustment, playback output, and playback input plus. So the way this schematic shows it is the audio signal from the audio head goes through this resistor, possibly some other stuff. No, I think it actually goes direct, and then goes up into pin 4 through this capacitor here. Now, if I go and inject audio onto pin 4, I get nothing. So that's the first sort of hint that it's probably this IC. Anyway, in this little diagram here, you see it goes into this little amplifier along with this, which controls the EQ. I guess it has a way of kind of controlling the gain or the profile or something inside there. So this is to control the EQ. And you see this little 3A5, R3A5 I sketched in here. The North American version has this extra resistor between pin 2 and this network going to pin 3. So pin 2 is the amplified output that then goes through this adjustable potentiometer before it goes and gets fed into the end-to-end switch. What's actually here is there is a transistor going across 3A5 that's controlled by a wire going off to the control board. And it will either bypass this resistor or open up to let this resistor in the path to control the sound profile depending on if you're in SP or LP or EP mode. Of course, the European one probably didn't have that because, you know, they didn't have EP, so they didn't need that sort of change. I suspect that this tapers the high end to deal with hiss for low tape speed. But anyway, this checks out fine too. I even probably left it partially unsoldered. Yeah, it's this one here, Q3A3, which is not on this schematic. Anyway, here I can inject audio, and here I can inject audio, and obviously it'll be quiet depending on what this potentiometer is set to. I can get a little bit here, which if you look at this circuit makes sense, right? Because you're going through this resistor network and then over to here. But nothing on 4. So it's outside of this end-to-end switch. It's got to be this amplifier. Bad IC. Now earlier I was complaining about how expensive these ICs were. I found one for $1.59 within Canada. It's $4 shipping, so to justify it I ordered some extra VCR parts. But that means that I'm going to try and fix this because, you know, I know it's a really basic model. 1986, nothing special. Couple presets, tuner. It doesn't have a real-time counter. It's 2-head. It's mono. But it's just so cheerful. I don't know why. There's just something nice about this. And now that I popped a new belt in and I fixed my timing issues with the mode encoder switch, which might have been my fault, maybe not, I don't know. This thing works a treat. The mechanism works wonderfully. The picture is quite decent. I would like it to live again. I think it deserves, I think it's earned it. So we'll see if my $1.59 IC solves it in 3 days to 15 days. Look what arrived. The BA5115 IC. Oh, and also, to make shipping worth it, these are always in need, so good to have a spare that I already used up. Those poor pins got a little squished, but I should be able to fix that right up. Wow. Wow. There's the old and the new side by side. That's the new one. You can tell because the legs are all wonky. That took a lot of fiddling off camera to get those legs in. Okay, let's power it on. That wasn't it. Fuck. You know the saying, it's always capacitors. Even when it's not capacitors, it's capacitors. Take a look at that. I don't know if you can see that greenish goo there. This baby is shorted. So, yeah, it's no good, and it was pulling the voltage down on pin 3, causing us to get no audio. Whoa, let's zoom out. So pin 3 was pulled down to 1.8 volts. As soon as I pulled the one leg of this cap out, I got audio.
Includes ACE inhibitors, improved glucose control, and sometimes a low-protein diet.
Now, the audio is not great, it's pretty quiet, but that seems to have pinpointed the issue. I don't know how I missed that. I swear I went around. I mean, I guess you can never really spot check caps in circuit. You gotta take them out. Doesn't even really seem to measure that bad. This good one is much better though.
That's why FAA regulations metabolic abnormalities in the person with diabetes.
Is that just this button?
Yeah, that you noticed.
It's a new one. What about rewind? What the heck?
With early intervention. Hence, an annual dilated essential.
Important.
Well, I don't know what that was about, but now it's good. Okay. It was a leaky cap. A single focus. A single leaky cap. That's all it was. And you know what's especially frustrating? It was this cap right here. So it was just pulling this voltage down.
We control their chromosome.
No,
Okay, perfect. Adjusted the little adjustment here back to where it was, and it seems to be working fine. Let's try out an EP recording. Hey, it's even playing its own recordings back. Although that's SP, this is LP, I think, and that's EP. Perfect. And then would I record it over? Perfect.
Helps you out tough food particles.
It even sounds pretty good for a mono VCR. So after all that, it ended up taking me about 30 seconds to fix this. Just, you know, putting it down, waiting for the IC that I ordered, and able to sort of digest it and come back with a fresh mind instead of at like 1 in the morning. And yeah, this stuck out like a sore thumb. It's obvious, especially with the measured voltages. But hey, you know what? It was a $2 IC. Now I have a spare one for the off chance I ever need one of these. Plus I got an excuse to order a blue gear. Anyway, this video was kind of a mess and pretty embarrassing, so I'm probably not going to upload it. So you didn't see this video. See you in the next one.
Season's Best Buy, a Mitsubishi 3-head VHS VCR with HQ and remote, an unbelievable $349.